Chosen one. There are people in your life who get disturbingly excited by your purity, the way your innocence shines, the way you look so confused when bad things mysteriously happen around you. They create chaos just to watch you question yourself. This has been the secret war you've been living through, and today the battlefield finally comes into view. Your light exposes what they lack, your ease triggers their envy, your spirit reminds them of a version of themselves they lost long ago. So they sabotage, they scheme, they hope confusion will keep you small. But awareness changes everything. Now that you see the game, you cannot be played anymore. Think back to every major moment in your life where something went wrong at the worst possible time. You're about to go on a date with someone who feels significant, and suddenly you're sick. Not just regular sick, violently, inexplicably ill. You're about to close on an opportunity that would change everything, and suddenly there's a crisis that demands all your attention. You're about to launch something important and chaos erupts around you from nowhere. You blamed yourself. You thought maybe you weren't ready, maybe the universe was testing you, maybe you needed to learn some lesson before you could level up. But chosen one, what if none of that was organic? What if every one of those incidents was orchestrated? What if the food poisoning right before your interview was because someone literally poisoned your food? What if the crisis that derailed your plans was manufactured drama designed to pull you back in? What if the chaos before your launch was spiritual warfare aimed specifically at your progress? You're starting to see it now. The pattern is becoming clear, and the more you look back, the more you're going to see how connected it all is. Here's how the operation works. You get studied. Your rhythms get learned. Your schedule gets figured out. When you're about to make moves gets anticipated, and then activation happens. Sometimes it's direct, something gets done personally, something gets put in your food, conflict gets started, problems get created. Sometimes it's indirect, someone gets sent to distract you, rumors get spread that poison opportunities, spiritual work gets done against you with rituals and curses, and sometimes it's both. A coordinated attack from multiple angles designed to overwhelm you completely. And the sickest part, watching you try to figure it out provides entertainment. Your confusion becomes content for someone else's satisfaction. Your pain becomes pleasure for twisted minds. Because you're innocent, you're not thinking someone close to me is actively sabotaging my life. You're thinking, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep failing? Why can't I get it together? And that's exactly what's desired. The focus stays inward, tearing yourself apart, never looking at the real source, because the moment you look at the real source, the game is over. Before we get to the full revelation, you need to understand something specific about what's been happening. Random sabotage isn't what this is about. A particular kind of satisfaction gets generated from the specific way you react to attacks. Your innocence means you don't immediately think someone is doing this to me on purpose. Instead, you think, what did I do wrong? And that response, that confusion, that self-blame, it does something for certain people. It validates a twisted worldview. It confirms a narrative that you're naive. It gives a sense of power and control. And yes, chosen one, it turns them on. Not always in an overtly inappropriate way, though for some of you that's exactly what's happening, but there's an energetic arousal that happens when watching you struggle to understand what was orchestrated. Think about it. The plan is known, the execution happened, and now watching you try to figure it out without ever suspecting the source becomes the thrill. Hurting you while maintaining plausible deniability becomes the satisfaction. Ruining your opportunities while you blame yourself or bad luck or the universe becomes the power. You've had moments where something went wrong and you immediately started analyzing your own behavior. Maybe I wasn't grateful enough. Maybe I manifested this somehow. Maybe I'm being taught a lesson, and you were being watched doing that. Watched turning inward instead of looking outward. Watched making yourself smaller, doubting yourself more, trusting yourself less. And every time you did that, every time you took responsibility for what someone else did to you, it fed something dark. It gave satisfaction. It created a feeling of superiority. It confirmed a belief of being smarter, more aware, more powerful than you. Your innocence isn't stupidity. Your genuine nature isn't weakness. Your inability to conceive of malice at that level isn't a deficiency. It's actually evidence of your higher frequency. You can't think certain ways because you're not operating from corruption. Your mind doesn't naturally go to how can I hurt someone I claim to love, because that's not who you are. And that quality, that purity, is exactly what attracts the blessings jealousy gets triggered over in the first place. So a twisted cycle exists. Hatred builds for having what others don't have. But what you have is the very thing that makes it impossible for you to see attacks coming, and watching you be confused by attacks gives pleasure, which leads to more attacks, which leads to more confusion, which gives more pleasure. It's sick, it's demonic, and it's been operating in your life longer than you realized. You're preparing for something important, an opportunity, a date, a presentation, something that matters to you, and you're excited, you're hopeful, you're open, and that openness, that hope, that excitement, it bothers certain people, because how dare you be happy when misery is their state? How dare you have hope when giving up happened long ago for them? How dare you be excited about your future when being stuck in dysfunction is their reality? So a move gets made. Sometimes it's direct. An argument gets started. A problem gets created. Attention gets demanded right when focus is needed. Sometimes it's subtle. Something gets put in your food that makes you sick. Something gets said that plants doubt in your mind. A ritual gets done, or negativity gets spoken over you that affects your energy, and then watching happens. Watching you get sick, watching you lose focus, watching you doubt yourself, watching the opportunity slip away, and satisfaction gets felt. But it's not just the satisfaction of seeing you fail, it's specifically the satisfaction of watching you be confused about why you failed. If you knew who did it, the thrill would be gone, the power would be broken, you'd be angry at the source instead of disappointed in yourself, but you'd be focused on actions taken against you instead of your perceived inadequacies. So confusion needs to be maintained, self-blame needs to continue, the dots can never be connected back to the real source. And your innocence has made that easy. You're so busy trying to be better, do better, understand what lesson you're supposed to be learning, that you never stop to ask, is someone actively working against me? That question doesn't even enter your mind because it's so foreign to how you operate. You don't work against people, so imagining people working against you becomes impossible, especially not people who claim to love you, especially not family, especially not people you've known forever. If these words stirred your consciousness, hype this video to help more chosen ones awaken to this. But chosen one, that's exactly who's been doing it. The people closest to you have had the most access, the most information, the most opportunity to sabotage, and all of it has been getting used. Your schedule is known, your dreams are known, your vulnerabilities are known, exactly when and how to strike for maximum damage is known, and striking has been happening consistently, methodically, strategically. While you've been thinking, why does this keep happening to me? The thought on the other end has been, yes, the plan is working. There's a specific energy that needs to be addressed because some of you have been feeling it without understanding what it is. There's an inappropriate focus on your innocence that goes beyond simple jealousy. Some people close to you have a twisted fixation on your purity. An obsession with your vulnerability exists in ways that make your spirit uncomfortable, even when you can't articulate why. How you trust people gets watched. How you open your heart gets studied. How you give others the benefit of the doubt gets observed. And something about that innocence does something to certain people, something dark, something predatory. This might show up as always wanting to know about your intimate life, always asking invasive questions about your relationships, always commenting on your body or your energy in ways that feel off, always positioning to be present during your vulnerable moments. And when you set boundaries, when you pull back, when you create distance because something feels wrong, aggression happens, manipulation happens, Accusations come about being cold or stuck up or thinking you're too good because your boundary interferes with access, and access is needed to feed whatever twisted thing is happening internally. You might think these are separate incidents, random betrayals, unconnected disappointments, but when you step back and look at the bigger picture, you're going to see how intricately woven this web of sabotage really is. One person does something that positions you for failure. Another person takes advantage of that failure to further damage your reputation or opportunities. A third person swoops in pretending to be your savior while actually reporting everything back to the first person. It's a relay race of betrayal, and every leg has been run flawlessly. You've wondered why certain people always seem to know things about you that you never told them, why your private conversations somehow become public knowledge, why your secrets end up in the hands of people who use them against you. It's because there's been a network of information sharing happening behind your back. People you trusted were giving details about you to people you didn't trust. Family members were comparing notes about your movements, your plans, your vulnerabilities. Friends were feeding your enemies intelligence about how to hurt you most effectively. And the most painful part, some of these people didn't even have personal issues with you. Participation in your destruction happened simply because it was requested, because going along with the group was easier than standing up for you, because being on the winning team, even if that team is evil, felt safer than being on your side and becoming a target. You got sacrificed for someone else's comfort. And when you find out who some of these people are, it's going to hurt, because you never would have suspected them. You thought neutrality existed there. You thought harmlessness existed there. You thought actual caring existed there. But here's what you need to understand about why this level of coordination was even possible. Your innocence meant you weren't keeping track of who said what, who knew what, how information was flowing. You weren't thinking strategically about who to trust with which information. You weren't creating different circles of trust with different levels of access. You were just being yourself with everyone because that's how you operate. Open, genuine, trusting, and in a healthy environment that's beautiful. But in an environment full of saboteurs, that openness became the very thing that got used for destruction. You were known to tell the truth, even when the truth made you vulnerable. You were known to admit struggles instead of pretending to be perfect. You were known to share dreams, even if those dreams could be used against you. And all of that got used. Every honest conversation became research for the next attack. Every vulnerable moment became a blueprint for how to hurt you. Every dream you shared became a target to ensure you'd never reach it. There's something you need to understand about the psychological component of what's been happening. Significant time and energy has been invested into orchestrating your suffering. That level of investment isn't casual. It's not just about stopping you from succeeding. It's about getting something out of the process itself, and what's being extracted is a twisted form of satisfaction that comes from having power over someone who doesn't even know control is being exerted. Think about how a puppeteer feels controlling a puppet. The puppet doesn't know manipulation is happening, it just responds to the strings being pulled. And the puppeteer gets satisfaction not just from making the puppet move, but from the fact that the puppet has no awareness of being controlled. That's what's been happening to you. Strings have been getting pulled, outcomes have been getting orchestrated, situations have been getting manipulated, and watching you respond exactly how predicted provides satisfaction. And your confusion about why things keep going wrong, that's the proof that control is working. That's the confirmation that the hand behind it all remains invisible. Every time you blamed yourself for something someone else did, power got felt. Every time you tried harder to be better when the problem wasn't you, superiority got felt. Every time you looked confused and hurt and lost, control got felt. Because chosen one, people who feel powerless in their own lives get a sick satisfaction from having power over others. And the easiest person to have power over is someone who doesn't even know control is being exerted over them. This is the part that's going to make you angry when you fully absorb it. Entertainment has been derived from your pain. Getting together with each other and talking about you has happened. Laughing about situations that were orchestrated has happened. Comparing notes on what works best to throw you off balance has happened. Making predictions about how you'll respond to the next move has happened. You've been a project, entertainment, proof of being smarter and more aware than you, and bonding with each other over your suffering has been happening. Some of you grew up in families where corruption is the operating system, where people gang up on each other as a matter of course, where betrayal gets expected and loyalty gets seen as weakness. You watched family members form coalitions against other family members. You saw how the person with the most power dictates everyone else's behavior through fear. And you were different. You stayed pure-hearted. You remained genuine. You didn't participate in the games. And that made you the ultimate target, because in a family of corruption, the innocent one is the biggest threat. Your very existence exposes everyone else's darkness. Your genuine nature reminds others of what was lost. Your peace highlights chaos around you. Your favor reveals lack in others. And it can't be stood. So a decision was made that you needed to be brought down, humbled, hurt, made to suffer, so that your light stops making surrounding darkness so obvious. The people you thought were safe were actually terrified of the main manipulator in your family, the biggest gangster, the most powerful abuser, and when that person wanted you destroyed, everyone else fell in line. Participation in your sabotage didn't happen because hatred existed for you, but because protection felt too scary to offer. You got thrown under the bus so someone else could save themselves, and then justification happened by convincing themselves you somehow deserved it. When you finally disconnected, when you drew boundaries and walked away, a crisis got created in the system, because now you became proof that escape is possible. Now you became evidence that their way isn't the only way. Now you became living testimony that someone can leave and be okay, better than okay, actually thriving, and that threatened the entire structure, so the attacks intensified, attempts to pull you back in happened, flying monkeys got sent with messages about family and forgiveness, situations got manufactured, designed to make you feel guilty for protecting yourself. Your innocence spared you from the crippling insecurity that holds most people back. You haven't been paralyzed by self-doubt. You haven't been stopped by comparison. You've been able to just be yourself and attract blessings naturally. No performance, no manipulation, no exhausting hustle, just authentic frequency, attracting authentic opportunities. And that made certain people lose their minds with jealousy. Work is 10 times harder for them, and results are a fraction of what you receive. Scheming and plotting and manipulating happens constantly, and still watching you receive things effortlessly happens. Understanding doesn't exist, that corruption is what's blocking them. Comprehension doesn't exist, that darkness repels what your light attracts. So in twisted logic, a decision was made that you don't deserve softness and love and favor because you already have so much. A decision was made that you should compensate them with your suffering. A decision was made that every blessing you receive should come with poison attached. Every victory should include trauma. Every success should be contaminated with pain, and work has been happening to ensure exactly that, making sure that even when good things come to you, something gets taken away simultaneously. Even when you receive gifts, conflict gets created that ruins your ability to enjoy them. Even when you achieve success, disaster gets manufactured that overshadows the celebration. Attempts have been made to ensure you never experience pure, uninterrupted joy. Never have complete, uncontaminated peace. Never feel fully safe in any blessing. You've had situations where you were excited about something and you shared that excitement with someone you thought was safe, and then mysteriously that thing you were excited about fell apart. The job offer got rescinded, the relationship opportunity evaporated, the business deal collapsed, and you were devastated and confused. You couldn't understand what went wrong, because from your perspective, everything was going right, but from the perspective of someone working against you, everything went exactly according to plan. Information you shared in innocence got used to identify what needed to be sabotaged. If excitement existed about a job, a way got found to ruin your chances. If hope existed about a relationship, poison got injected before it could develop. If plans existed for a major move, obstacles got created that prevented it. Your excitement became an alarm system. Your hope became a call to action. Your dreams became a target list. Now let me put you onto something real. Destiny Engine. I built this because I was done watching chosen ones get dragged through betrayal, isolation and attacks while their enemies strutted around unchecked. I want to help you accelerate the speed of your divine justice and step fully into your purpose. And the beauty of it, you don't even have to lift a finger. Destiny Engine takes their downfall and flips it into your rise. This isn't another meditation app. It's declassified consciousness technology, the same mind programming tools your enemies once used to install fear, competition and scarcity, re-engineered to restore your sovereignty and align you with the cooperative, upgraded operating framework. It generates personalized sequences mapped to your divine purpose. The hardest thing you'll do is put on headphones, press play and watch your enemies keep digging their own grave. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and turn everything they did to break you into fuel for your rise. Link in the description. But Chosen One, that season just ended. Right now, in this moment, it's over. The divine has declared it finished. The hedge of protection around you is now impenetrable. Witchcraft can't touch you anymore. Schemes fall apart before formation even happens. Curses return to sender. Attacks backfire on those who launch them, because you're not operating from confusion anymore. You're operating from clarity. You're not stumbling around in the dark trying to figure out what's wrong. You're standing in the light, seeing everything exactly as it is. The moment you stop being confused is the moment power gets lost over you, because the entire operation was built on your inability to see what was really happening. You were needed to think the problem was you. You were needed to believe you were somehow causing your own failures. You were needed to stay focused inward, analyzing and criticizing yourself, never looking at the real source. But now you're looking at the source. Now you see clearly. Now you understand exactly what's been happening and why. And that understanding breaks every chain that was wrapped around you. You're going to look back at specific situations now and see them completely differently. That time you got sick before an important event and you thought it was stress or anxiety. You're going to remember who prepared your food, who had access to your space, who knew about the event and seemed a little too interested in how you were feeling. That relationship that ended abruptly after you introduced them to certain family members. You're going to remember what was said, who said it, how quickly things changed after that introduction. That opportunity that dissolved right after you celebrated it with specific people. You're going to see the connection between who you told and what happened next. And as these connections become clear, as you see the pattern stretching back through your history, you're going to feel a lot of things: anger, betrayal, grief for the time lost. But underneath all of that, you're also going to feel something else: relief. Because finally, it all makes sense. You weren't crazy, you weren't cursed, you weren't doing something wrong. You were being systematically sabotaged by people who needed you to fail, so feeling better about their own dysfunction could happen. Your innocence isn't going away. That's your superpower. That's your divine frequency. That's what attracts the blessings, but it's being paired with something it never had before: wisdom, discernment, strategic thinking. You're learning to operate from innocence in safe spaces while maintaining vigilance against those who would exploit it. You're learning to be soft where softness gets honored and boundaried where boundaries become necessary. When purity pairs with discernment, when a genuine heart learns to protect itself while staying open, you become unstoppable, absolutely unstoppable, because you still have the frequency that attracts blessings. But now you have the wisdom to protect what you attract. You still operate from love, But now you have boundaries that keep out those who would exploit your loving nature. You're still you, just evolved, upgraded, empowered. The people who were turned on by your innocence are about to be confused by your clarity. Being bewildered is what you're used to in their minds. Doubting yourself is what gets expected. Being vulnerable to manipulation is what gets counted on. But that version of you is gone, not destroyed, transformed. You haven't become hard or bitter or closed off. You've become wise, and wisdom knows the difference between being open-hearted and being naive, between forgiveness and foolishness, between loving people and allowing abuse from people. You're entering the season where everything that was blocked is now released. Every door that was closed is flying open. Every opportunity that was sabotaged is coming back around multiplied. Every relationship that was poisoned is being replaced with genuine connections. Every dream that someone tried to kill is coming back to life stronger than before. And watching it happen is going to happen. Watching you thrive is going to happen, and nothing can be done about it because the divine has removed access to you. Some will try to come back. You're going to get messages, texts about reconciliation, calls about family and forgiveness, people showing up talking about how much time has passed and how you should let go of the past. But chosen one, recognize it for what it is. It's not genuine repentance. It's panic. The shift can be felt. Sensing that you're about to receive everything that was attempted to be prevented is happening, and getting back in is desired. Access is desired. Being positioned to sabotage again is desired. Don't fall for it. Protect your peace at all costs. This is your era of complete manifestation, not partial, not contaminated, not poisoned, complete. When blessings come now, you're receiving them 100%. When opportunities arise now, you're walking through them without sabotage. When relationships develop now, genuine connections form free from infiltration, because the people who were blocking and poisoning and sabotaging don't have access anymore, cut off, removed, rendered powerless. And karma, it's not just coming, it's here. Everything that was attempted to be done to you is happening to those who attempted it. The confusion that was attempted to trap you in is now their reality. The isolation that was attempted to be forced on you is now their experience. The obstacles that were attempted to be placed in your path are now blocking them, and exposure is just beginning. People are seeing who certain people really are. Relationships that were valued are crumbling. Opportunities that were counted on are disappearing, because the universe is balancing the scales. Justice is being served, and escape isn't possible. But you're not focused on anyone's downfall. You're too busy rising, too busy building, too busy receiving everything you were denied for so long. You're too busy experiencing what life feels like without constant interference, without perpetual attack, without having to look over your shoulder, wondering when the next disaster will strike. And it's glorious, it's peaceful. It's everything you knew life could be, but couldn't quite access while active work was happening against you. You're discovering how fast you can build when no one's tearing down what you create, how quickly opportunities flow when no one's blocking them, how naturally relationships develop when no one's poisoning them, how deeply you can rest when you're actually safe. And it's revealing your true capacity. All this time you thought you were operating at full potential, but you were operating at a fraction of your capacity because so much of your energy was going towards surviving attacks. Now that attacks have stopped, now that you're actually free to just be yourself without interference, you're about to see what you're really capable of. The people who got pleasure from your confusion are now confused themselves. Understanding doesn't exist about what changed. Understanding doesn't exist about why tactics aren't working anymore. Understanding doesn't exist about why you're not responding to manipulation the way you used to. And that confusion being experienced now? It's nowhere near as innocent as the confusion you experienced that provided entertainment. Your confusion came from purity and trust. Theirs comes from the realization that control was lost and can't be gotten back. The innocence that was thought to make you weak is actually your greatest strength because it connects you to divine favor that can't be accessed by those who tried to use it against you. The confusion that was thought would keep you trapped actually forced you to develop clarity others will never have. The suffering that was orchestrated thinking it would destroy you actually forged you into something that can't be broken. A self-defeating game was played. All that time and energy invested trying to bring you down only succeeded in leveling you up. This is your moment, your season, your time. The war is over. You won. Not by becoming like those who hurt you, not by sinking to their level, not by fighting darkness with darkness. You won by staying yourself, by maintaining your light even when surrounded by darkness, by keeping your heart pure even when attempts were made to corrupt it, by remaining innocent even when that innocence got exploited. And now that innocence paired with hard-earned wisdom is about to take you places others will never reach. So receive this message as your confirmation. Everything you suspected is true. Every instinct you had was correct. Every time you felt something was off, you were right. Trust yourself moving forward. Your discernment is sharp now. Your intuition is clear now. Your boundaries are solid now. And you're walking into a season where everything that was attempted to be prevented becomes your reality. The blessings are coming without contamination. The opportunities are opening without sabotage. The relationships are forming without infiltration. The dreams are manifesting without interference, because you're free now, free from influence, free from access being granted, free from the ability of anyone to touch what's yours, and that freedom is about to show you what was always possible but couldn't happen while you were under attack. Welcome to your season of dominance, not domination over others, dominance over your own life, your own territory, your own destiny. You're not asking permission anymore. You're not seeking approval. You're not waiting for validation. You're simply being who you were always meant to be without interference. And that version of you is magnificent, powerful, unstoppable, exactly what the divine intended when you were created. You survived what was meant to destroy you. You maintained your frequency in the middle of chaos. You kept your light on, even when attempts were made to snuff it out. And now that light is about to shine brighter than ever before, not dimmed by darkness, not contaminated by corruption, not weakened by attacks, refined by the fire, strengthened by the pressure, perfected through the process. The season of confusion is over. The season of clarity has begun. The season of sabotage is finished. The season of success is here. The season of contaminated blessings is done. The season of pure abundance is now. And nothing can stop what's coming for you because the divine has spoken. The protection is in place. The favor is released. The breakthrough is happening. This is your narrative, chosen one. Not a narrative of victimhood, a narrative of victory, not a narrative of defeat, a narrative of dominance, not a narrative of pain, a narrative of power. You're not the one who got hurt, you're the one who got forged. You're not the one who got broken, you're the one who got built. You're not the one who got destroyed, you're the one who got developed into exactly what you needed to be for this moment right here. So step into it fully, own your power completely, trust your wisdom absolutely, protect your peace fiercely, and watch what happens when innocence and wisdom combine in one unstoppable force. That's you, that's who you're becoming. That's who you've always been underneath all the attempts to convince you otherwise. Welcome home to yourself. Welcome into your power. Welcome to the beginning of everything that was attempted to be prevented. Your time is now.